All right. I am here, everybody, live with Ben Troupe, author, motivational speaker, founder of the Uncommon Cru, and former NFL player. Ben, thanks for taking time with us here at the Big League Philanthropist.
Danielle, I appreciate you having me. I mean, you always have always been real supportive of what I do and all these platforms you have. So I appreciate you having me.
Oh, well, it's our pleasure. Really excited to have you here and talk a little bit more about the nonprofit side. I know you do quite a bit. So tell us, first of all, before we jump into Uncommon Cru and the nonprofit side, how have things been going? I know you just released a book. You're doing book tours right now. You got the podcast now. You're still doing ESPN Radio. So tell us a little bit about what you're doing and what's exciting coming out of Ben Troupe's world.
Wow. Yes, the book is doing well. Uncommon Unfinished. It's you can find it at BenTroupe84.com as well as every major retailer. The Uncommon Cru is my next big venture. Being from where I'm from, Swainsboro, Georgia, being able to just provide something for the young men down there. I know that young ladies have a plethora of opportunities, so I'm just trying to make sure I pay it forward. Making sure I'm working with, guys from grades 9 to 12. And it's really about exposure. Just letting exposure be its on teaching remedy. I remember growing up in Swainsboro, moving to Augusta. Swainsboro was the biggest thing in the world to me. I never really ventured out, didn't really go to Atlanta or Augusta or Macon or Savannah or Columbus. Swainsboro was my, New York until I started seeing the world a little bit. So it's really just taking my life experiences and putting it in the program. And, hopefully, the people that's going to be helping me do it, we're going to get a chance to really just try to show these young men that, look, you don't got to go to college to be successful, but you want to have that option. You don't got to go to trade school, but you can have that option. You don't got to go to the military. You get out there in the workforce. But when we all coming from different backgrounds, being able to share our story, give them to these young men, give them some options, hopefully, they'll realize that you can have what you want as long as you're willing to work for it. And you don't have to have the quote, come from the worst situations possible to achieve these things, because we're talking about young men that's coming from mostly single parent homes, and father figures or male figures is not something they're used to. So just having that male figure to young man interaction is what we're looking to do in the Uncommon Cru. We've already done some things with them, and we just kind of letting it happen organically. This is a I like to call it a people helping people program. It's a, it's not a mentoring program. It's an enrichment program, trying to enrich these young men to let them know what's out there. And you don't got to be famous to do it. You don't got to be a singer, songwriter, athlete to do it, coming from a former athlete. But at the same time, I'm just trying to give them what I needed when I was their age, really. It's just giving them not necessarily what I lack, but what I wish I had as a resource when I was their age. And, hey, man, some of these, you talking about 14 to 18 to 19-year-olds, that conversation barrier is sometimes the hardest thing to get over. But once they realize you're not here to take something from them, use them for their talents. I'm not there. They'll say, Mr. Troupe, you my agent. I'm like, no, I'm not your agent. I'm not your manager. I'm not your publicist. But then, it's so rewarding because you think about what you're going to do past my playing career. The speaker and the author, that stuff is great. ESPN Radio is great. But when you do something like this is what you start, okay, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And plus these mothers, I mean, they just appreciate the fact that I serve as like a big brother to these young boys to let them know that, hey, man, a lot of them never met their fathers before. So when they do finally meet them, I said, listen, man, I want to give you something to say to them, but it's been very, very, very rewarding, very humbling though, because like I said, my career is over and I was like, what am I going to do now? And you see all the other stuff, but I think the Uncommon Cru was going to definitely take on a life for itself.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like you're already kind of starting to kind of figure out what makes sense, what resources you want to provide folks. But I love that you mentioned it's going to be growing organically. So you're not trying to kind of force things, but kind of make things happen when it makes sense, how these young men that you're working with, what they need, not just giving them things, but actually providing them what they need. So how did you actually decide to start the Uncommon Cru? Like, what resources did you use to get started? Were there people you contacted before you said, okay, I'm going to start this organization? Like, how did you actually create it?
Wow. Way back in 2008, I had this nonprofit called We Win, WAWE, standing for We All We Got, We All We Need. It was going to be a mentor program. It was going to do all these great things. But then I couldn't get nobody to help me. I was living in Tampa at the time, and I had all these people that said they wanted to help because they didn't think I was going to get my 501c3. They didn't think I was going to do my part behind the scenes. East Georgia State College in Swainsboro, Georgia. A lady by the name of Miss Elizabeth. Danielle, I had sat down in front of so many people and asked them to help me. And they said no so much. I would sit down, I give my spiel, they'll say no, and I'll leave. Sit down, give my spiel, they'll say no, and I'll leave. I go to East Georgia State College, Swainsboro, Georgia, where I'm from. I go in this lady's office. Her name was Miss Elizabeth. I sit down in front of her. I give her my spiel. I'm waiting on her to say no. And as I'm getting up, she says, yes. Well, I like that. We want to help you with that. And because I had gotten so used to no, I didn't know what to say next. So here I am. I got a lady at a college that's willing. She said, yeah, we'll put a pin when they graduate. We'll put a pin on their cap and gown to show their community service. I'm like, because I didn't know what to say. You fast forward to 2020. I'm back in East Georgia because I'm going there to speak, starting my speaking tour. This is in February. So this is right before COVID really hit.
Yeah.
It's a guy by the name of Andre Drummer. And I go on campus and I said, man, I'm about to start the Uncommon tour. And I said, we talked to each other. And I said, who do I got to talk to? He says, oh, you got to talk to Miss Elizabeth. I said, Miss Elizabeth is still here? He was like, yeah. So we go over there. I'm telling her what I'm doing now. And she asked me, outside of speaking, what are you doing? I told her about the Uncommon Cru. And what's crazy is Andre Drummer ended up writing. Andre Drummer came up with, he does this organization called the AAMI, the African American Male Initiative. So that's what he does, as well as he's a math professor. Andre Drummer gave me his book to read. It's a conversation between a professor and a student. Reading his book inspired me to write my book because Andre Drummer gave me the cover he gave me the title of the book, and he wrote the foreword, right? And he asked me, what else am I doing? And I told him about the Uncommon Cru, and he was like, do you know why you're doing it? Not just that you're doing it. I said, yeah, man, I know why I'm doing it. I'm doing it because I'm giving them what they needed when I needed it. And he was like, all right. And so he's working my organization. And then everything kind of happened the way it should. I mean, the primary school that I went to growing up is now my building. They gave me the building.
Wow.
Dr. Judy, the former superintendent, he was getting ready to leave. Mind you, this all happened really, really fast. I got my 501c3. He said, Ben, I'm leaving. I'm retiring in like a month. So I had to get my board together, 501c3, all this stuff happened in a month. One of his last things he did was gave me the keys to the building. And a lot of people don't know this. I was like, man, I want to use a building that's an education building. So I was like, hey man, how much are they gonna charge me to use this building? He said, we can't give it to you for free, but we will charge you $1. That's all they charge me for it. So wow. I got the keys to the building, full access to the building. And mind you, it's three wings to the building, and it's an old school. So it's a guy named Jansen. Jansen said, Ben, do you think it will ever come a time to where we'll just hand this entire school over to you? I said, that's the goal. The goal is to be able to take the Uncommon Cru and make it a part of, like an academy to where, you got STEM programs in there, you got youth development programs in there, you got the Uncommon Cru and AMI and Fearlessly Forward. So Danielle, the building that I wanted originally, it needs some work done to it. I talked to Andre Drummer. He told me, hey man, I always wanted the school. This is a guy from AMI. So I'm like, I'm in building 3. I wanted building 1, working with a young lady by named Shana Boston, who ran for mayor, by the way, in Swainsboro. She didn't win, but it was great.
Yeah.
He has a program called Fearlessly Forward. So you're hoping to have the STEM program, AMI in building 1. You're hoping to have Fearlessly Forward in building 2, Uncommon Cru in building 3. We're going to take the old lunchroom and make it into a culinary kitchen. People don't know what culinary kitchens are where I'm from. They know nothing about culinary. And I said, listen, culinary is just another way of saying cooking. It's just in a different way. But I'm trying to be able to bring the experiences I've had from Gainesville, Nashville, New Jersey, New York, Atlanta, California, and bring them back to this small little town. And hey, man, if the Uncommon Cru gonna be a catalyst for bigger change, so be it. Because like I said, I don't need a whole bunch of accolades. When I asked them, hey, I said, what can I do in this building? This is what they said. Whatever you want. I said, so if I want to knock down these walls, you can knock them down. If I want to paint, whatever you want. Because they said you provided something that we can't. You are a gap filler. So, hey, I got the key. I got the keys right now. I said, you guys gonna give me the security code? He said, no. He said, why? He said, because you don't need it. You good. He said, you give security codes to people that we can't trust. We give keys to people we can. That's what Danza told me. So here I am with the keys down the road from the same, and it's literally walking distance from my mom's house. So I can walk out of her house.
Oh my gosh.
So we'll see what happens, Danielle, but hopefully I don't know what we're gonna call the academy. We're gonna call it something but the Uncommon Academy, who knows? Hopefully that'll be a catalyst. Because when you talk about small towns where I'm from, every small town has vacant high schools and middle schools, no boys and girls clubs, no YMCAs, no after school programs, and yet they want the kids to make it. They're not gonna do it. So hopefully this will be a catalyst to be able to have these little, these academies, free by the way, to these students, and we'll see what happens with it.
No, I think it sounds amazing. You clearly have a huge vision in this. And I love that you already know where you want it to be, in 10, 15 years, right? I think that's so important. And the why is very clear. Like your friend asked, like, why are you doing this? You know why? Not that you're doing it, but why? And I think it's very clear that collaboration has been a big part of everything You're doing, right? The relationships you have, reaching out, asking for help, talking to people. So what is going on at the building or with Uncommon Cru right now today? Like, what kind of resources are you putting together? What kind of programs are together right now? If anything, I know it's early days. You said 2020, so it's only been, 12, 15 months, right, since this all started happening. So tell us a little bit about where you're at right now.
Well, right now we're working on funding because obviously, just like I know, Danielle, ideas and concepts can only go so far. You got to have financial backing.
Oh yeah.
Or the energy is always there. The money is not. So you always got to have the funding. And I'm doing something next year to garner exposure for Uncommon Cru. I'm doing men's symposiums. I'm doing 4 of them next year at the auditorium at East Georgia State College with League of Braun, AMI, my father's organization, Men Reaching Men, because the goal is, I'm working with the younger generation. My father has his own 501c3 in Swainsboro called Men Reaching Men. He's working with men. So it's about partnering with each other to let each other know there is no competition. There is no, I'm trying to outdo this person. So what I'm doing mostly with Uncommon Cru is trying to give it as much exposure as humanly possible, from radio ads, commercials, sitting down talking with you, because I want people to know the Uncommon Cru is just that. I don't spell it CREW. I spell it CRU, creating a real you in the, in an uncommon way, or creating real understanding, or creating real unity. So I'm gonna have crew members, but they're not gonna have membership. So, we're gonna do this thing called the 1684 campaign, or the 1684 movement. That's basically a fancy way of saying we're gonna be asking for $16.84 a month. We want, at least a 5-year commitment, because I know you can get grants. I know you can get all these different things, but I want people to know what people can do. Most people think you got to have a lot of money to help organizations. I'm like, that's a misnomer. My goal is to get 5,000 people donating $16.84 a month for 5 years. That's $1 million budget strictly from people, from those individuals. Because the one thing I want to make sure these young men have opportunity to see America, to see. I know the guy that runs Chick-fil-A. I went to the University of Florida. I played for the Tennessee Titans and the Oakland Raiders and the Tampa Bay Bucks. I want them to see the world is going to take money to do that. So when you talk about these people, where does my money go toward? It goes toward these young men. Like, one guy was like, you telling me you're not going to be using the money? I'm like, what? You telling me you're not going to be using the money to buy cars and houses? I go, no. But at the same time, I understand people are hesitant when it comes to me, but it's less me and more of who came before me. A
Mm,
lot of people have come with real gimmicky things to say one thing, but to use the money for another thing. I said, listen,
right.
I go,
Yeah.
look. I said, listen, man, I'm 39 years old, man. If it took me this long to try to come up with a scheme and all I got is young men, that's not gonna work. I'm not looking, I'm looking to make sure that the Uncommon Crew outlives me. That
Mm,
way, when I'm old and gray one day, I get to walk to this academy, not just in Swainsboro, Georgia, but everywhere I've lived, I want one. Gainesville, Tampa, Nashville, Atlanta. Because what happens is I know how to bridge those gaps to be able to say, why if the Uncommon Crew works where I'm from, it works everywhere. So
mm,
so what I'm doing now is on the fundraising campaign, making sure people know that it's going to take financial backing to maintain
mhm.
anything. I got concepts for days, but without the money to back it, and obviously too trying to partner with certain companies, like trying to eventually partner with Apple or
Mhm.
some kind of technology company, trying to partner with maybe like Whole Foods, because where I'm from there are no healthy options, right?
Right.
When people hear about veganism, I'm like, okay, well, number one, that people think that veganism, some people think it's a religion, and it's not. So I think that's what I get to bring. If I'm partnering with Whole Foods and I'm giving them Whole Foods because that's what we provide, they go home and say, man, we got them eating healthier because they're getting the best options there is. And hopefully,
Yeah.
but I got some great people working with me, man. I really, really do. Shayna and Danielle, Shayna and yourself and Entree and BJ. So I got some people. That's what I didn't know before. I
Mm,
would challenge anybody that when people say, what do you want to do? Make sure you get you a 501c3 because you are filling a gap that the world needs. Wherever you are in the world, get you one but before you get your 501c3, get commitments from people who are willing to support your vision.
mm.
Because once you get them, then you go out there because 501c3s, when I did the first time, it took a long time to do it. This time, and it was like everything was
Yeah.
from articles of incorporation file. Because when I went to go see Dr. Judy, the superintendent, who's no longer superintendent, Swainsboro, he asked me that. He said, you guys 501c3? I go, yeah. I think about what he would have said if I would. He says 501c3 means it's real. He says without it, it's just an idea. Like it's a good
Mm.
idea. So here we are, and like I said, Danielle, it's at the beginning stages. But my goal is to bring my boys to where you at. Come to your city and say, listen, these are the type of people that I'm working with. And who knows, man? Hopefully you'll be interviewing them one day.
Yeah, no, I think you brought up so many good points in there. One, that a vision is a vision until you actually act on it. So getting the 501c3, right, building those relationships are so important. And you mentioned funding and you talked about how important that is. And I think a lot of people don't think about that when it comes to nonprofits. They just think, oh, we'll get people to donate. This is what it is. So I want to talk a little bit about the resources that you are bringing in from your own side. So you're a motivational speaker, you're an author, you work in radio. So how did the work you're doing with the book, with motivational speaking, how does that tie into this philanthropic project, this vision with Uncommon Cru?
Oh man, what how it ties in is I heard Kevin Hart say something, man, and I think I live by it. He said everything you do should be centered around, in your main purpose. My
Mm,
main purpose is not motivational speaking. My main purpose is not radio. My main purpose is not books. But if it's tied to me and people want to know about me, it brings because people see that and it's always okay. What else? So when I say, look, the speaking, the books, the radio gives me a chance to put it on the radio so people can know what I'm doing. So I got the listener part. The books put me in a whole different avenue because now I'm speaking to other authors, but I'm also letting the authors know I am more than an author. And as far as the speaking itself, that's my therapy, man. When I'm on those stages, I think I'm kind of I wanted the speaking thing too is great, but I want to take the speaking more to like conversation series like what we doing Danielle because
mhm.
I'm reading Will Smith's book Will, and I'm learning a lot about him. But I heard him say something when you're sitting down with a moderator and they asking me questions, and then we go from that to just talking to the audience. I'm humanizing myself again, because the one thing people don't get about me is being anything. If you're a CEO, a lawyer, a doctor, you're ostracized because you are in the minority of people, not the majority of it. So people think that you're different from them. So my speaking gives me a chance to show people, man, I'm not that much different than you. Yes, my career path was different. Yes, I represented a professional sports aspect of things, but my children and my family and what I'm doing is so that people know, hey man, my father would always say, before you complain about what's not being done, tell me what you're doing. And that's what I do. There are no complaints because I'm too busy doing it. And he says, when you doing what you're supposed to do, you learn how to lend a hand, not an opinion. I lend hands. Opinions, we all got them. They don't really get us anywhere. I debate. I got a 2-year-old nephew named Julian. He's who I debate with. I sit there with him and we go back and forth because, all he cares about is, getting some candy or some ice cream or something. So with me, what my speaking does and everything I do, then it brings the focus back to, hey man, this thing called the Uncommon Cru.
Yeah.
And people go, people say, you really believe in this thing? I go, no, I am the Uncommon Cru. That's just what I call it. Like the Uncommon Cru is a microcosm of me and everything that I've done. Plus, I operate through a surplus. I don't got all the money in the world. I don't got all the influence in the world, but I do have influence. I do have a platform. And I didn't know how big radio was. Radio, people think it's just behind the mic. Man, I get to go to games for free, college and pro. I get to be up in the press box, on the field, in the locker room. But once again, when people get, hey man, what you doing now? What you doing now? It's like when I say I got a nonprofit, they tell me about theirs. Oh, I got one. It's almost like we have kinships. I be trying to find them kinships out there. And like I said, Danielle, when I got away from football, I would have never thought it would have been like this. I thought I was going to be, I don't know, working for some network, talking about some team, wearing a suit, sitting here like saying, trying to get my makeup ready. All right, go. Saying we're back. But the Uncommon Cru paved the way for all this other stuff because I love being an author. It's great. I love doing radio. It's great. But those things are going to fade one day. The Uncommon Cru will not. The Uncommon Cru, I got 3 children. I got 7 nieces and nephews. One of them, hopefully, is going to want to carry this on. I want to walk in one day and I'm going to go, that's my daughters. That's my son. Because it's not too many things. This is my trickle-down economics, if you want to call it.
Sure.
I want to be able to give. Listen, they might not want to work for me. That's fine. They might be, Daddy, I don't want to do your Uncommon Cru. But hopefully, they'll see something in what I'm doing, make them want to do something for it. Because they don't got to do what I'm doing. I'm not one of those parents that say my kids they don't got to do nothing they don't want to do. But the Uncommon Cru for me, I didn't ever think I would have anything of a legacy in this life. Outside of my children, Uncommon Cru is the best thing I got. It's the best thing I got going. I hope to write, me and BJ, I hope to write as many books as he's willing to write, because I'm not writing them. He can write them, But no, Danielle, it's something when you find something that's authentically yours, that authentically came from you, birthed from you, and you don't worry about the criticism. I tell people all the time, man, you can't worry about what people say, because they're going to say, or you can't worry about when they look at you with a side eye, because I've been that person, but I also understand, man. I said, I know they need it. Even the people that criticize me, I go, look, if you got a son, black, white, brown, blue, purple, doesn't matter. They need this program because the program, but just the name of it is Uncommon Cru. It's all in the name too, man. I mean, be uncommon to be forgotten, period. Like, life is like Tetris, man. Once you blend in, you stay, you disappear. We're trying to get these young men to take ownership of who they are, what they are, and what they're becoming. We're trying to help them with all 3 parts, to who they are, to what they are, what they're trying to become, trying to be that bridge. And, we're going to have some disagreements. Because we see life totally different. I'm not on TikTok. I don't care about how many followers I have. But I got to be able to resonate where they are to get to who they are, right? Yeah. And I understand that, but I'm enjoying it, Danielle. Like I said, my friends see me, they be like, what you doing? And I never talk about what they already know. I'm not talking about radio, because you know that. I'm not talking about the book, because you can click on it. I said, but when you go to www.theUncommonCru.com and you see me, that's me. From etiquette camps exposure trips. Shout out to Jared Binko, the athletic director at Georgia Southern, and OPO, the athletic director at Savannah State. We went to Savannah State. OPO is sitting there talking to my group. We go to Georgia Southern. We got the athletic director walking us around the facility. This doesn't happen. Now my kids think, oh, you know the athletic directors. I'm like, yes, but this ain't normal, right? But I'm just lending myself to it. I'm just giving all I got to it. I don't have an end goal. So I say? I just want the Uncommon Cru to do what I know it can do. And that's, if I help one kid, we've done it. I've gotten away from that. You know how it is, Danielle. I've gotten away from that. I mean, I need to help 500 kids by, February 15th. No. One kid comes to, because I was that one kid. Yeah. So that's all we're doing. We're taking it one young man at a time. We don't turn nobody away. We just make sure they know it's gonna be work. It's gonna be growth for them, growth for us, and we make sure their parents know, hey man, this is a people helping people. Now y'all got to help us. Y'all can't just give us the young man and don't do anything. This isn't a daycare. This isn't a, but Danielle, it's the best, man. I mean, we're gonna look to have clothing and merchandise, and we're gonna look to have podcasts. Because once we get the whole building put together, man, science, technology, engineering, math, and the arts. We're gonna add that to it. All that's gonna be, so you might now listen, I'm not gonna be doing ballet. I'm not doing that. but my goal is to give them what they think they can never be where they are. Like they see that stuff and man, we can't do that.
Right. It's like giving them the opportunity to see it, right?
I told a kid, I said, you know what a red carpet event is? He goes, what? It's an event with a big red carpet. That's it. People come out with cameras and weather. We're gonna try to do stuff like that because the more
exposure
we can give them, hopefully they'll realize that Swainsboro, in a sense, isn't built for young people. It's built for people who've had their kids, they retired. But if you're gonna live there, I want you to enjoy it, man. I want them to be able to. And hopefully when you start seeing us in Atlanta and these big cities, a bunch of country boys up in New York, we're gonna make sure that the cameras are there, not so that people can see us, so they can see themselves through us. Like we're walking through these, I've lived in New York, and New York is I've been to DC and Baltimore and Chicago, and I say these places are cold, people. And once I'm doing that, I mean, I hope to have 84 Reasons, obviously my podcast. 84 Reasons is going to be a bigger entity. You're going to have the podcast. You're going to have a production company through it. I know nothing about a production company, Danielle, by the way, but I do know that I can buy cameras. I can put scripts together. I can go action, and I can put it up on these platforms. There's nothing they can do. And I hope to do that because, I mean, I've done way too much in my lifetime to think I can't do stuff now. I'm not gonna start making excuses now. And I remember the first time I reached out to you, I said, it was during the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I said, what is this, man? What's next? And to me, that's what I do best. I don't do that when I wonder what could have. Listen, I send an email, I press send, and I wait. And here we are. So, hey man, Benjamin's gonna give you his part. I'm gonna do my part. I'm gonna have fun doing it. And most of the time, my friends will tell you, the little friends that I have, I've been in the spotlight so much that I want to give that to somebody else. Because it's easy for me to talk about, oh, I'm not a person that care about the spotlight, but I had it to say I don't care about it.
Yeah.
Most people, unfortunately, I didn't need social media to show people that I matter through likes and retweet. So it's easy for me to say certain things because I was that person. People can Google me and see me or whatever. So right. I think that I'm not naive from that standpoint, but the more I can show them that as much as you know about me, this is who I am. Hopefully I get that balance and that dynamic right there. But young boys, they are not impressed. I'm telling you, it's so hard to impress them. You be telling them stuff, they be like, yeah, Chris Brown, I'm like, no. One kid asked me, George Clooney? I'm like, what? I said, no, I wish, but no.
Yeah, exactly. That'd be nice.
Hopefully we inspire these young men to know we care about them. We want the best for them. and we don't want nothing from them but their best. Like, hey man, just give me your best, and we good. And like, that's all you want. Yep. How much do it cost? I say it don't cost you nothing, but it costs to do it. It just don't cost the people that's in it to do it. And
yeah.
Well,
I love that it's all centered around this purpose. Like all the work that you're doing, from the speaking to the podcast, everything is around who you want to be, what legacy you want to leave. And I love that you said that Uncommon Cru is not, it's not a vision, it's you. It's what you want to leave in the world. So I think that's really important. Tell me, you mentioned being an athlete, you mentioned the spotlight. Do you think that playing D1 college football, professional football, has helped you? Has that spotlight helped you make more impact? And how has it helped?
It has. I'm not gonna lie. Listen, I'm not. It had, because Danielle, it's something to say about having something that's forever that always gonna open up a door. Now, I will say this: I do disappoint people because, once again, they're expecting to get from a football player talking about football. I'm like, no, like that got me in. Like the former NFL, listen, I live in Georgia, but I went to Florida. So the University of Florida is almost bigger than the NFL teams. But I will say this. Listen, man, if I'm a former, governor, if I'm a former mayor, I'm going to use that to my advantage. But it's really to show people, man, I represent that part, Danielle, too. Some of these young men are going to want to do what I've done.
Yeah.
So I want to make sure that they know how to use what people know of them, but make sure that what people know of you is positive. Because but yeah, I definitely use it, man. I definitely do. I'm not gonna.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, it's a spotlight to get more awareness to what you're doing. So.
Because in a sense, listen, I'm not Tom Brady or Peyton Manning or Eli Manning. I'm not Drew Brees. I'm not that former athlete that's just recognizable, but I represent the same things they represent. I played the same thing they played in. I went to college and played D1 football. And I think what happens is I use that stuff for my benefit because I know that that's intriguing. And look, if I knew of somebody, quote, like me or whatever, yeah, I would want to know a little bit more about them. But once again, the Kevin Hart mentality. Kevin Hart is known for being funny, but now he's doing movies. And, I saw a movie he got on Netflix the other day. I'm like, dude, he's acting. And I think what happens is somebody said, look, man, as long as you have to be good for what you was known for first.
Yeah.
So when people hear the speaking, when I say, hey, man, I've been speaking long enough to know how I want to do it. I want to make it more conversational. Like, why? And then it's for wherever you've spoken at. And I'll go, Chick-fil-A. I've spoken at, University of Florida, University of Georgia, colleges, universities, organizations. But I said, but the thing is, I never knew that people got paid to speak until I got paid to speak. I never knew the impact of speaking until I did it. I never knew. So I go back to, yeah, I definitely use it because it's something that I work hard to do, but it's only a portion of me. And once they meet me, they realize, okay, be like, yeah, I can talk a little bit of sports. I said, but I talk sports for 15, sometimes 20 hours a week. So if you want to hear me talk, listen, go to @Pigskin Radio, go to ESPN Coastal between 3 and 6, click on the listen button, go to the ESPN app, go down to Coastal Georgia or Savannah. You can hear me. But I think too, being on the ESPN app, working for ESPN Radio, because I walked away from the limelight and got to come back. Most people don't get to do that. But I do my best too to treat everybody, because when these young men are watching me, they watching how I am towards people.
Yeah.
They watching how I talk to people, because I don't want to give them permission. I tell them, I don't give you permission to be a jerk. I don't give you permission to be disrespectful. I say, listen, if I'm talking to the CEO of the company or the janitor in the building, you can't tell who's who. You can't tell who I'm talking to.
Yeah.
I don't treat people with a hierarchy, because if I want to talk, I said the guy that's on the Hunters floor had to start on the first floor. He can't, unless he just helicoptered in. And I think that's the one thing that I make sure that I do a lot, because I represent something that's much bigger than myself. And I never lose sight of that. So I don't want them thinking that it's okay to, hey, I'm gonna be humble until I get the money, and then I'm not gonna be humble. I said, no, you want to be humble without the money, just nobody knew you. I want to show them it's the quality of relationships The only thing that's important is the people, how we treat each other, how we interact with each other. And so that's the fun part for me is, you know, I see people, we get to have interactions with them, and I'm just shaking hands with them. I said, this is my group of people. It's great though. It's great. I mean, I think that having a platform to use is great, but making sure that you're using it for something greater is the plan. So yeah, I definitely use it. I mean, and that's something I've come to terms with. I used to try to not use that stuff. Oh no, I'm just being true. You don't got to. Like, what do you mean? Like, it's almost like, this is what you've done. This is who you are.
Right.
So
people expect it, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No, it's great. And I appreciate your time. We have 2 more questions for you as we wrap up here. One is one that we ask all of our guests, which is, what does the word philanthropy and what does being a philanthropist mean to you?
Wow. Philanthropy to me is what, quote, I'm supposed to do. Philanthropy to me is a fancy way of saying, being a man of service, because when service is what I'm supposed to be doing, man. Somebody waited on me. There are so many people that don't share the same last name as me that have helped me get to this point. They was giving me a part of them. Service is giving somebody, what you hold dear, your time, your money, your resources, your platform, your influence. A philanthropist means that I've arrived, because philanthropy is like being an entrepreneur, and you don't really turn it off once you turn it on. And then you start realizing that philanthropy to me is a village type mentality. It's not just what I want to do for me. It's, hey, Danielle, how can I be a part of what you're doing as well? Because it's like somebody help it's like the dream coming true is philanthropy. Helping somebody's dreams come true is a philanthropist.
Ooh,
so if I'm helping somebody else's dreams come true, that's me being a philanthropist. Helping my dreams come true is me. That's philanthropy. So it's great though. It really, it's one of the greatest titles I have outside of being a dad and an uncle and a son and a brother, because that means that I get it. That means that, the service to others is the rent you pay, for the space you take up. So philanthropy to me is, like I said, once again, radio Ben's gonna fade. Author Ben, hey, read some books. But philanthropy being, that's like golf. Doesn't have an age restriction, doesn't have a time restriction, doesn't have a concept restriction. It's, hey man, I'm like a bottle with no cap on. I just cut the top off. Now it's gonna overflow. So hey, I'm looking forward to it though. I really, really am, Danielle. And like I said too, philanthropy making so I get to meet people like you, because if I'm not reaching out to tackle what's next, if I'm not in that mode already, if I'm not, because it's almost like, hey man, I want to be around people who do what I do. What you mean? Notice I said I want to be around people who do what I do, not people who look like me, sound like me, who do what I do.
Yeah,
and
I
so,
love it.
Yeah, that's it.
No, I love it, and I love that you said it. It's not just about me. It's about the world. It's about connecting. It's about being, and it's not necessarily one thing. It's not about money. It's not about this. It's just about that state of mind almost, right? It's you don't turn it off. I love that you said that. You don't turn it off.
You don't.
So,
you don't.
All right, last question, and this is we want some advice from you. So you obviously have channeled your passion for change into some big vision with Uncommon Cru that you're working towards. So if there's an athlete or really anyone, young person listening to this that wants to speak up about issues that matter or want to help drive change in their own communities, what advice does Ben Troupe have for them?
Oh, your greatest asset is you, meaning like you have only happened once. So if you only gonna happen once, what can you give to us? Like, it goes back to, and when it comes to advice, be very, very careful on who you take advice from, because the person advice is shaped in their perspective and their trials and tribulations, right? So be willing to say no to advice and take your own advice, and understand that, your superpower is the fact that there is only one you. Like, money doesn't make you superpower. Doesn't make you a superpower. And the thing about influence is that we all have it. It ain't at the same level. But how do you use your influence for something greater than yourself and enjoy this thing, man? Like, really, really enjoy the fact that it's not gonna get greater if you get something else. If I get this, I'm gonna be that. Or if I was over there, I would be. No, you got to decide right now. Hey man, I'm this without that. I'm this if I never get that. The great Deion Sanders said he went fishing and he didn't catch anything, but he was still content. You got to find a way to be content, even if I don't get what I want. Because in a sense, that's what life is, right?
Yeah.
Figuring out life without getting what I want, but playing with the cards I was dealt. Because Danielle, so if somebody gave you some cards and you throw them in, and then you walk by that same table, and the person go, they won. They go, oh, they said, but they won with the cards you threw in. What? They let them pick it up, and they won with those. So bet on yourself. Understand that your superpower is there's only one you. You will only happen once, and trust and listen, and just trust and believe that mistakes are a part of it. Falling down is a part of it. Losing is a part of it. But enjoying your life, that's optional. So you don't got to enjoy your life. Enjoying your life is optional. So what are you gonna pick? I'd rather be content. I'd rather be content with nothing than to be just how do they say it? I'd rather be content and have nothing than to have everything and be miserable. I don't want to have everything. 3 people in this life. Poor people talk about money because they don't have it. Rich people talk about things, a bunch of things. Wealthy people talk about ideas. And to think about wealth, I don't think they're always talking about money. So I want to be a person, I have a wealthy mindset. So I talk about ideas, concepts. I don't talk about people. I bring people with me. I don't talk about things. I got a closet full of things. And hey man, if true fulfillment is finding something you're willing to do for free and get paid for it. I spoke for free till I got paid for it. I did radio for free till I got paid for it. I read enough books to where, hey man, I want to write my own. And I didn't write my books to get paid for my books. But True Vine Publishing and Timothy Bond, he put my books in Walmart and Target and Barnes. So, hey, and enjoy, listen, and just enjoy this ride, man. And God is the author and finisher of our faith. But if you're gonna be the author of your book, man, don't give nobody else the pen. Don't let nobody else write the script of your life, man. Write it for yourself. It takes a legacy. It takes a full lifetime to fulfill a legacy. But man, bring somebody with you. Like, please bring somebody with you, because that's what makes it meaningful. And man, it's about the memories, about the moments. Try to create as many moments and memories as you can.
I love it. I mean, I think that's amazing advice for anyone thinking about what they're going to do, what impact they want to leave on the world. And Ben, thanks for joining us. This was fantastic. I'm so motivated and excited for what you're building.
We're going to have to listen. We're going to have to set up something the way we do the live panel with the audience, and we sitting there and listen. I'm going to come the way you are. I'm going to say Danielle's going to be the moderator. The 84 Reasons Conversation Series is going to be what I do. I heard Will Smith say, whenever you see, he was doing it on stage. I think he was talking about King Richard, I think. He said, whenever you see him and his family, his wife and his kids, and his trials and tribulations, he says, you are watching an experiment in unconditional love. That's what he said. Do you know, that makes you go, what? That's what so the mistake, and I'm reading his book, by the way. If you haven't got, listen, I'm supposed to be pumping my book. Will Smith book, it is incredible. But I want to have conversations with groups of people to let them know it's all right to be you. It's all right to make mistakes. Plus, getting what's on your mind off your mind, that's the greatest thing you can do. Because somebody needs what you got up here. Somebody needs that stuff. And sometimes somebody needs to know it's okay, because you and me, we more similar than we are different. So the 84 Reasons Conversation Series is going to be something that I can do anywhere from colleges, universities, organizations, churches, youth organizations. I can do that anywhere, because you asked me about me. I don't mind sounding crazy. I make up words on the radio every day. I can pronounce words I cannot spell. Hey, it's life. But I just enjoy this thing, Danielle, because I tell people this all the time. My life would have been just fine being just fine. God saw something different. So who am I to make a fool out of the creator? I'm going to go and I'm going to have as much fun as I possibly can. And listen, man, I tell you all the time, before I lend you an opinion, I'm going to lend you a hand. And I mean, we'll see what happens from there.
Well, I'm excited for the 84 Reasons series and conversation. So whenever you're in the DMV area, you know who to call. Who's gonna be who's gonna be around. And again, Ben, really appreciate your time. So excited for the Uncommon Cru vision to take life here. And last question: where can people find you and follow you? Get your book. Get all into 84 Reasons with Ben Troupe.
Definitely listen to make a contribution to the Uncommon Cru. Go to the Uncommon Cru CRU. So that's the uncommoncru.com. Always go to BNTroupe84.com if you want to purchase my book, not just Uncommon Unfinished, but Judy and John. I have a children's book as well. Follow me at BNTroupe84 on all social media platforms: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. And if you want to hear my crazy behind on the radio, go to @Pigskin Radio, or go to the ESPN app, go to the coastal Georgia or Savannah. You'll see me. And hey, man, I'm gonna just keep on being me, man. Hopefully something about me will make somebody want to be them. I'm gonna do it as long as I can do it. I'm gonna have fun doing it, Danielle. And when I'm in the DMV, I'm gonna say, listen, I got Danielle. We about to do this thing. We're gonna come in with the cameras, and I'm gonna walk in, doing my little, taking hands, and we're gonna have fun. Hopefully, the 84 Reasons thing. Look, I will say this. I work for ESPN Radio Coastal. If I don't work for this radio station, I will not do radio. They know this. 84 Reasons, the conversation series, that's going to be 84 Reasons conversation series, the Uncommon Cru, 84 Reasons Productions. That's going to be my next life. I'm going to be doing movies and documentaries on people that I think that people need to see. I'm going to be writing books. Well, BJ going to be writing books. I'm just having fun, man. I used to think that, you had to make a certain dollar amount to feel a certain way. No, man, you got to do what's in you to do to feel a certain way, man. Take what's in here, give it to out there, see what happens.
Well, I love it. I'm so excited. As always, you have our support. We'll be getting all those links in the show notes for you. And Ben, thank you for your time today. And I hope that our listeners are as motivated as I am about what you're doing and want to support the Uncommon Cru, because it's awesome. And I love the vision you have. So thank you for being here with us.
Appreciate it.
All right.